Hey everyone, my name is Jesse Keller, and today we are going to be doing a review on the debut album of Focus called In and Out of Focus. They're a Dutch band, like progressive rock and that sort of shit. So if you're into like Yes and Rush and people that are into doing like complex kind of music, this is the band for you. And I only have the US copy, but in other countries this will be known as Focus Plays Focus. And let's get to the review. Track 1 of side A is Focus, the instrumental, and this album begins with, the title track. The song itself starts off a little slow, but picks up the pace around the halfway mark, but up until then it's just kind of slow and often dull and repetitive. But, once you're in that halfway mark, you're in for a treat. Like, even the flute playing sounds killer. Like, pretty damn good if you ask me. But for the first half it was kind of shitty. So for that reason, I'm only giving it a 5 out of 10. Second track is Why Dream. And it's one of those songs that'll actually be perfect for a single, and I'm not sure why it wasn't. It's a kick-ass 4 minutes long song with a pretty deep lyrical meaning and ends with a blistering solo. It's nothing like the first track, and it gets the message across. So for that reason and that reason alone, it gets a 9 out of 10. Track 3, Heavy Nightmare, in parentheses, Mescaline. So either I haven't listened to enough prog rock, or this song is more fitting to be played in the jazz lounge. And while the jazz influences are pretty strong, as far as the lyrics and the way everything blends together, it's pretty melodic and kind of sounds like a Santana song. And so for that, it would probably get a 7 out of 10 in my book. And that's the end of side 1. And side 2 begins with the song called Anonymous. Now this is kind of like the stuff that I, normally expect to hear from a prog rock fan. Even though the jazz influences are still there, this song still has a kick-ass vibe. It's one of those songs that I could actually literally jam out to. And it actually got me in a good enough mood to where I was able to do the dishes and wipe the counters today, which is something that normally doesn't happen after, just listening to one song. But there you have it. It's a 8 out of 10. But the next track, which is my personal favorite on here, is called Black Beauty. And before I owned this album, this song was actually my introduction into Focus. So, about a year ago, I bought a large box of 45s, and Black Beauty and House of the King was one of the many promo copies on there. Now, the reason why it's my favorite song is because it's the most relatable. And I'm sure that everyone has had a partner that their family and their friends, just really fucking hate, and it was like, oh, you ain't shit, you guys need to break up, just that sort of bullshit. So for that, I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10 because of how relatable it is and how good of a song overall it is. Then last but not least, this is probably my least favorite song on the album. It is the vocal version of Focus. And I just wanted to say that in general, I was never a huge fan of reprises, especially if it's like the closest examples to ones that I'd actually like would be a Time and fucking Dreamboat Annie. Those are the only two reprises that I actually enjoy. But by all means, it's not the best song, and it's like the most sleep-inducing part of the Focus instrumental. It's that boring fucking droning slow beginning. And I honestly felt like it'd be better if fucking House of the King would, would be a better fit for this album instead of this song in particular. So it gets a 4 out of 10 in my book. Now, overall, I'd like to say that despite as many flaws that this album has, I actually like it. This is something that I've listened to twice today, but not just because of the album review, but because I enjoyed it. And I found out that the Sire label version, which is the one I have, has one track missing, and that is Sugar Island. Now, after writing this review, I actually listened to it, and I honestly feel like, it was a better, that they should have included it on the track, either that or replacing Focus vocal with that. And, but, that's just how shit like that happens sometimes. Like, some of the best, records would be missing, like, songs in other fucking different versions and stuff. But overall, I'm giving this album a 6 out of 10 because it has some good songs despite the many flaws on the album. And the production is just fucking good too. But what would you like to see me review next? What do you think about this video? Leave a, comment in the section down below. Recommendation, anything, even if it's, fucking advice or how I could keep from screwing up. I'm Jesse Keller, and I'll see you next time.